or leave me and let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I love you.
Hello, thank you very much for watching and sharing these videos and the blogs and the links to them. Please do continue to do that. Continue to email me on all things. I'm just looking down at my wee list here. But yeah, this one's about women as abusers. I've had a request for that. So women are perfectly capable of being abusive, just the same as men. Stats show in America that it's about 50-50. More male are reported. Maybe there's an ego thing in there that men don't like to admit they're being dominated, manipulated and controlled by an abusive woman. So it doesn't say that it's, stats don't suggest that it's more a male thing. Stats suggest that it's 50-50. Domestic abuse, that's when it gets physical, then it is more male. That again is reported. So stats can be misleading. So yeah, very prevalent, and I'm getting more and more men comment and coming in to me asking questions, so thank you very much for that. It's not, I had one woman that said an interesting comment about do I like just helping women. It isn't just women that come to me asking for help, so thank you very much. I think I said in that in the last video. So main differences with women, it's all about, any abuse is about control, manipulation, domination over another person, that other person being the victim. And it doesn't really make a difference what denomination, what sex, what influence you are, as long as you've got that match, that fit of abuser and victim. So generally in the female as the abuser, sex is the difference. Often with men, they can force themselves, dominate through sex, demanding, ever increasing demands, perversions, looking at sites. I hear a lot. That sounds dodgy. I have a friend, yeah, increasing fascination and demand for a thirst of sexual knowledge, for getting involved with other women, texting, porn sites, that thirst. So not being able to be satisfied, and demanding and being quite cruel in many ways, and abusive, physically abusive, sexually abusive, but also that control thing. And interesting, I've had it when women have contacted me saying they've turned it around and gone, okay, if you want me to be S&M, I'll play the role, and they've gone, oh, didn't like that, because they weren't in control. How interesting is that? So that dominating, belittling is more true in men. In women, it can be the withholding of that. The withholding of maybe denying the masculinity through sex. So controlling through, dominating through control, not wanting it, withholding it, complaining about it, not being good enough, belittling, whatever the weakness is, and this is true of any sex, whatever the weak point is for the victim. So yeah, whatever it is, you're too soft, you're too sex, that's not a good one. Manly, you're not manly enough, you're not, whatever the weakness is, the bit that hurts for the victim, then that's what the abuser will choose. So yes, a male abuser might dominate through sex, but a woman will as well, but usually through withholding it, or kind of working on the man's ego that it's not good enough, demanding, you need more. I've heard all sorts of things. Very commonly, not being pleased is a woman's prerogative as an abuser. Now I laugh slightly at that, because maybe that's a classic age-old thing, but in terms of abuse, never being satisfied is a very common one I hear from the men that contact me. Never being, even though you do this, you do that, you go overboard, you do as much as you can, that person will never be satisfied, never be happy with your efforts. It's a perfect form of control. So you pedal harder and faster. It's like that duck under the water, going really fast, trying to keep the veneer of everything being all right, but underneath they're crumbling and being crushed, and that's intentional because it's a pattern. It's not just one thing when we have a bad moment. So if that's kind of ringing any alarm bells, it's like, oh yeah, yes, that's very true here. Nasty, changing moods incredibly quickly, aggressive. 1 minute sweetie pie the next, really cutting, nasty, getting where it hurts, that's abuse all over. It's not just not just men that are able to do that. Women can do that as well. So I hope that helps. Abuse is abuse is abuse. There are differences, between the male and female. The ones that I can discern most of all are the way they control through sexual behaviour. Seems to be the most common thing. Otherwise it's, oh yes, this is familiar, this is abuse, regardless of the circumstances. So I hope that helps in some way. Maybe it muddies the field, I don't know. But thank you very much for the question. Do spread the word. Thank you very much. Perhaps you know somebody that you suspect, and it's a really difficult thing to introduce. I think you might be emotionally abused, because that person will be a victim. That person will say it's their fault. They'll never accuse or think it's the other person. They love that other person. That other person, they'll put the other person first. Their abuser, they'll always put first. So they'll never want to tarnish them with a negative stick. They'll put it on themselves first. So it's a very difficult thing to introduce. So if you can introduce this video, perhaps they'll look at it enough to go, okay, that sounds a bit too close for comfort, or too close to home. Maybe. But it's a bold thing to introduce, and maybe you could accidentally put the link across. Thank you very much. And of course, always email me if you want. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
There'll be no one unless that someone is you. I intend to be independently so blue.